We now welcome on Blair Kerkoff to the podcast. Reporter for the Kansas City Star, covers the Chiefs. Blair, how are you?
Doing great. Hope you guys are too.
In terms of the offense, obviously we know everything about Patrick for the most part. But I've been looking over a few stats, and it looks like Patrick has been sacked 10 times in the last how many ever games. He's taken some hits, and I saw that Clyde did not practice today. He was a DNP today. So just wondering, tell us a little bit about where their offense stands. It almost doesn't seem like they are rolling into the playoffs on a hot streak.
No, you're right. The Mahomes and the offense's worst quarter of the season was the last quarter, right? The final handful of games of the regular season. The last game that the starters played was a 17-14 victory over the lowly Atlanta Falcons, and Atlanta did some things defensively in that game that bothered the Chiefs. For the Chiefs to score 17 points in a game, that's somewhat unheard of. I mean, the week before they went to New Orleans and scored 32 on the Saints. So yeah, that is an issue here in Kansas City, and people are wondering, did given the starters the game off against the Chargers in week 17, then having the open week, will that help? Will the rest help the team, or will there be some rust and that they haven't been able to shake because of the way the offense performed in spots those last 3 or 4 regular season games? Now, keep in mind that Patrick Mahomes had 4 picks in those last 4 games, 3 or 4 games. He had 3 of them in one game down in Miami. And one of them was an incredible play by Xavier Howard, the great cornerback who might be the defensive player of the year in the NFL. But a couple of them where he was unlucky with deflected passes. So I don't know. He's a confident player, just like Baker is. They're so confident. They're not. I know the Chiefs aren't going into this game thinking there's something wrong with the offense. I think they're looking forward to the opportunity to stretch their legs a little bit and I don't know about you, but I'm expecting a pretty high scoring game on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things Browns fans are looking at, of course, is that Chiefs run defense, going against Nick Chubb and, of course, Kareem Hunt, who you guys know well in Kansas City. How can the Browns exploit that run defense? And, is it as shaky as the numbers say it is?
Well, just whereas the offense has had their issues in the last few games, the opposite is true of the Chiefs' run defense. They've actually played well in the latter part of the season, which is similar to what happened last year with the Chiefs when the offense sort of stayed consistently good throughout 2019, but then it was the defense that improved at the end that really got them over the hump and got them a Super Bowl victory. The Chiefs' run defense, if you look, they haven't. I think it's 6 of the last 7 or 7 of the last 8 games they've held opposing teams to under 100 yards rushing. So, and some of those, including the Saints with Alvin Kamara, they've stopped some pretty good running backs. What they tend to do is get into shootout games, and so you're going against Drew Brees, you're going against Matt Ryan, you're going against some of the better quarterbacks in the league, and the running game doesn't become a factor. I think teams have made a mistake over the years going away from the run against the Chiefs. Even when they're behind, I think teams should still be able to think about running the ball and burning clock. And we'll see if the Browns do that on Sunday. They certainly have the ability to do that. And again, I with as impressed as I am with Chubb, and we all know about Kareem Hunt here, that Browns offensive line is what I think should worry the Chiefs more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I think that people might be underestimating about the Browns, they look and they see, Ben threw for 501 yards in that game, and Mason Rudolph hit a lot of big plays, but they did not have 2 of their best defensive backs, actually 3 of their best defensive backs, and those 3 players are going to be back for this game. Denzel Ward, Kevin Johnson, and Ronnie Harrison, who only played 11 snaps last week. So it's a different secondary. And I think people kind of tend to look at this and think, oh, Patrick's just going to have his way with this Browns defense. And I think it's guess again.
Well, I tell you what, Roethlisberger did put up big yardage numbers, and part of that was because they had to throw the ball so often, so early, and being down as big as they were. in a normal game, Roethlisberger wouldn't have had that sort of production. I don't think against the Browns. But look, Denzel Ward, I've always been impressed with him. I think he's a terrific player. Loved him in college, and he can make a difference for sure. Look, Mahomes is there's a reason why he's in the conversation for MVP. I don't think he'll win it. I think Aaron Rodgers will be the MVP, but Mahomes had his best season this year, better than his MVP season in 2018, and better than his 2019 year when he led the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. He was smarter. He's got his usual array of weapons. He doesn't make the mistakes that he made when he was 2 years ago, his first full year as a starter here. So I think that I think the Chiefs will be able. Listen, I think the Browns are going to be able to run the ball on the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are going to be able to throw the ball on the Browns. I just think it's a matter of who gets touchdowns and who gets field goals out of this. I really do. I just think you're going to see something of a shootout, if not a shootout, a lot of yards in this game, a lot of first downs, and who's the better defense in the red zone, and who can stop each other from getting into the end zone.
So I think we're all kind of on the same page in this being a game with a lot of yards, potentially a lot of points. So I guess to answer your questions, who do you think in the end will come out on top in this?
Well, I picked the Chiefs. I mean, I picked them by about the Vegas line. I think I picked 35-24. But the reason I feel this way, I think I would have picked the Chiefs against any opponent in this game. And I'm going to pick them and if the Chiefs win, I'll pick them to win the AFC Championship game, because something the Chiefs did after winning the Super Bowl, they didn't get fat and happy. They didn't. First of all, they didn't have the opportunity to celebrate like most teams do, because in mid-March the world shut down and they didn't get to take the victory lap or the victory tour. So I think that helped them stay focused. And the other thing is they made these decisions in the offseason to bring this team back. I mean, they could have let players like Chris Jones walk, and a couple of other guys who had the opportunity. They re-signed them because they saw the opportunity to win a second straight Super Bowl, or at least get to a second straight Super Bowl.